Hello, everyone. It is your boy Winster. Hopefully, you are having an amazing day. I am back at it again with another video. Today, we're going to be doing Centurion Test 10. If you guys want to check out a full breakdown of the deck profile, I'm going to card it somewhere on screen, but we're going to do a quick little deck profile, super quick. There have been a very small change to the deck in terms of ratio of some cards. We'll go ahead and get into it in a second. While you're subscribing, I do appreciate everyone's support. And if you guys want to continue to see this type of content, because I'm a big fan of Centurion, check out the description box, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, very active Discord. Come join a very active community. Let's go ahead and jump into today's test hands. Quick deck profile, 3 Primera, 3 Chudea, 1 Emeth, 3 Oath, 3 Stand-Up Centurion, 1 Bonds, and 1 Phalanx. That's the Centurion engine. For the Horus engine, I play 3 Imseti, 1 Happy, 2 Sark. Arbicio engine, super small. I play 1 Swarm, 1 Magnemite. Consistency cards, I play 3 Bonfire. This is the one change that happened. I took out another card, which I'll get to in a second, but this searches out Chudea. That's why you end up playing it. Non-engine, I play 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Ghost Spell. Last 2 cards in the deck, I play 2 Triple T. I was playing 3. I switched it out for consistency with Bonfire. So we're gonna go ahead and do just a couple of like quick little test hands. So I think the beauty with Centurion is that it's not really too affected by like the major board breakers running around because of the current format with like Fire King. So we're just on the code end of the release of Phantom Nightmare. From the recording of this video, it is Sunday, February 11th. Phantom Nightmare changing the meta, but not really affecting Centurion. Like I said, we don't get stopped by Droll. We search once. Unless we start playing like other engine like Centurion Horus, it may be affected a little bit, but there are still ways to play around it. Nibiru, definitely not a big problem. Again, you start playing into it once you start playing like Fenrir, Horus stuff, but that's why it's always important to like really weigh out what you want to play. I'm just giving this a quick little shuffle. We're going to go ahead and shuffle, and then we're going to cut. Again, want to keep it as organic as we can. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right off the bat, we have a Ghost Spell, Veiler, Happy, Emblema Oath, and Ghost Spell. So essentially, we drew 4 cards. It does suck when we open this many hand traps. Not in the sense of not being able to do anything. It's just the fact that we opened 2 of the same one. If this was the Ash, I personally think this would have been a bonkers hand, because this is only once per turn. So again, this card is essentially dead to us. But there is ways to play and still build some sort of board. Right off the rip, it doesn't really matter when you activate Emblema Oath, right? Because we don't have any way to interact with our opponent if they activate like a hand trap. So you could activate this in the draw phase, but it really doesn't make any difference. What matters the most is that we go ahead and activate this, and depending on what we actually end up playing. So Emblema Oath, we can place the Centurion in the Speller Trap, but we want to play around Ash, and considering this hand, it's really crucial that we get the field spell sooner rather than later. And it's easier way to play around like Ash and Droll. I'll activate Emblema Oath, and I will go ahead and place the field spell directly onto our field. The reason that I'm doing this is, like I said, so we can play around certain hand traps. But when we do, our opponent has a really hard time interacting with this. We still have hand traps to fall back on. So we'll go ahead and activate the field spell. Activate the field spell effect. I would go ahead and discard this, and then we're going to place the Primera. So we're going to go ahead and get the ball rolling. So place the Primera. Activate Primera effect on resolution. It's a special. So if our opponent has like an Ash or something like that, we'll probably get cooked here because we don't really have any other option to get into any other kind of engine. But we still have a normal summon, which is good. So we'll go ahead and activate Primera. But let's say that they don't have an Ash. Again, if they did, this would be not a terrible hand, but we need to make sure that we place these hand traps perfectly. We're going to search any Centurion card. We're going to obviously do Chudea. Chudea being a Centurion card. And then we're going to go ahead and normal summon. We're going to go ahead and activate Chudea effect. And then we are going to go ahead and place the Emeth, of course, the brick that I hate. And then we're going to do that. And then on resolution, we're going to activate MF effect special. So again, we don't have much option other than this, but the thing is that now that we done searched, it doesn't really matter, right? Even if we get drawled, it doesn't really matter that we don't get the draw off of this into the Legacia. Yeah, we'll go ahead and synchro. We just couldn't get ashed. If we got ashed, we wouldn't be able to play. Activate the effect of Legacia. Let me go ahead and cut. And then cut deck, and then we'll draw. Damn, that's a crazy ass card. Kind of what you needed here. We've summoned 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Yeah, we got a crazy card for follow up or for continuing to extend. But at what price does it come with, guys? If we activate this, we start playing into Nib. We start playing into that big borker that messes us up, and we don't want to do that. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I would just go ahead and pass, and our opponent's just pretty scared of our hand, right? Like, they don't know what's in our hand, but they have an idea, right? Like, I'm sure that they figure, like, well, he discarded a ghost spell. I'm sure that he probably has one already, right? So that's maybe the only other knowledge that they have. So this is where I would personally stop. Don't play into Nibiru, because you're already like kind of dealing with the deck, right? You don't have any much more extenders other than that. Hopefully we get some good consistency. I really want to showcase, you know, what the deck could do, and then the next test hand we'll do some test hands with interactions with our opponent. That way we could showcase, right? We always want to be optimal, guys. Like, oh, our opponent activates Ash. Oh, we so happen to have a Talons in our hand now. We're not going to do that. We're going to be optimal, right? Because we want to play every best scenario against the deck to really showcase its full capacity. At certain times, I do think Centurion can be a little fragile, right? Because like the right Ash without any follow-up, it's one single Ash, you know. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and go into test number 2. Ooh, okay, the field spell pretty good. Bonfire, Trudea. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Ooh, that is pretty bad. We only have gas here, but we're gonna be able to play. We opened our hand with 1 card. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because these cards, not only are they the same, right, but they all do the same thing. Given Centurion has a little bit more leeway, but Bonfire only searches out the Trudea. This is pretty bad. Luckily, we got a summon, so we'll be able to do that. And then we got the stand up. I think the right option here is to... dang. Like, best case scenario, the Bonfire is a discard. Because we don't really want to search, right? So, yeah, standby main. I think the right option here is to just activate the field spell. Activate, because again, the field spell, one of the good things is that our opponent has a hard time interacting with like the field spell or like placing. So we'll go ahead and activate, and then we'll go ahead and try to bait our opponent, right? And then we're gonna discard the Bonfire's costs because that's trash. We're gonna place the Primera. So, even if we did get ashed here, we do have follow-up, right? So we'll go ahead and go to Primera, Primera effect, to summon, then effect, right? So let's say it does get ashed, okay? So it does get ashed. So now what we'll go ahead, I'll give you both scenarios. So it gets ashed, okay? So we'll just normal summon the Trudea, and then synchro for 8. And then we will go ahead and use the new pack bit, and then we'll go ahead and activate the effect, and then we'll go ahead and probably place the Primera, man. I'm gonna be honest. We can't summon it again because we already did it off of the stand-up, but I think that might be the best option. We don't have much else, man. But that's in the situation if we do, right? Let's go ahead and say we don't get Ash, right? Like, our board was the Primera. Then we'll activate Primera effect. And here we would just search probably Bond Stripes. Nah, I think at this point I would get the Phalanx because we want to stop our opponent. And Phalanx could be defensive and offensive, right? If they try to target a monster, not that we'll probably end up using it. That we'll probably use it more like offensively to make sure that they don't get to a point. But yeah, I'll search the Phalanx, and then normal summon the Tridea, and you guys know the rest. Effect, we'll place the Emeth effect, Synchro for 12, and then Legatia effect. Give it a good shuffle. And even then, if like we just want to see a hand trap, okay, Imseti, like that's really good. Just like before, right? When we open up the Sark, like what do you want to do? How much value do you really want to get? Because if you get like Nibiru, like you're not going to be able to play. You only have one thing to really play defensively. So even though I drew Imseti, if at this point I might activate just so I could get the draw, right? So I could get another hand trap. And I think that might be the best case. I'll activate Imseti. Here I'll discard Bonfire and Imseti. Yeah, our opponent may know that they have this, right? So they're probably going to be more prone to like really OTK. Because like the horse stuff is just really consistent, right? Like it's just free summoning, free body, free level 8s every turn. Worst case, they could be like, Sense of Grave. And then we'll go ahead and draw a card. So we'll cut, and then let's see what we get. Ooh, okay. So at this point, I'll set. Won't activate King Sark. And then yeah, probably just go to end phase and activate, right? But yeah, those top decks were kind of crazy. I'm not going to cap, but again, like we only play 40 cards. We have a very small engine, other very smaller engines, and then a multiple of like non-engine cards. So it's always pretty likely that we're gonna like draw into one of them, and that's what's really good about the deck. Let's do some more realistic test hands, showing interactions with our opponent if they have hand traps. So I think it's fair to give our opponents, our faker opponents, we're gonna give them 3 hand traps. We're gonna go ahead and give them Imperm, Ash, and Valor. I'm gonna be honest, the likelihood of us playing through that is very unlikely. Little power shuffle. But realistically, I think the deck could really play through 2 hand traps, like fairly consistent. But 3, it's tough. Like I said, we usually don't play into Nib since we're not playing those engines that give us the consistent way to play into Nib. We're more than likely just not going to be using that as a hand trap because I just don't find it realistic, in my opinion, right? But the situation warrants it. We'll try our best. So we'll go ahead and do that. Give it a quick little thing and then quick little cut. Let's see what we could get. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not gonna cap. It's a pretty good hand. The problem is that it's gonna search. We have a hand trap. We kind of have another hand trap with like Magnamut. However, like the 2 ways to get to our engine, the only real way to do it is by searching. I think the least likely to like really play into anything big is activating the Imseti. We don't really care about the hand trap ghost spell. And I think that's what I'm willing to toss here, right? Like Magnamut only really works when we have something in the grave already, but we need a search. But at the contrary, I really want to search with Bonfire. Like I don't want to take a gamble. But yeah, I think our only real option is activating Bonfire. This is a great hand, but no really other extenders. We'll do Bonfire, activate, and then obviously, what is the likelihood of your opponent just ashing this? Because they're at risk of fighting against like Fire King. Realistically, I think because of that mentality, they're not going to ash this, and I think this is going to be fine. But we'll go ahead and yeah, I think we'll allow it to resolve. So we'll go ahead and go into the Trudea. So our opponent doesn't want to play into Talons, and I think that's fine. So here, if they didn't have Drogon, they have Imperm, Effect Veiler, and Ash. So now that they know what we are playing, now they're gonna try to like really understand. Because again, it's pretty common even today that people don't really know how to play against Centurion, which is like pretty funny. But as long as you explain right, you want to be fair and like play fairly. I think you could just go to bonds, but it doesn't really matter, right? Like you could increase it to level 8. If Ghost Spell was level 4, that would be insane. It's just normal summoning the Trudea, right? We'll go ahead and activate effect. So our opponent doesn't want to play into Talons. So we're gonna go ahead and Imperm. Okay. So the effect won't resolve. So I think at this point the only other option is to activate Imseti, and is for cost. I think sending the bonds, right? Like if we send the Ghost Spell, that's even less defense that we have. The bonds is a phenomenal card, but it's not doing anything at the moment. And on top of that, we want to save the Magnum Hut, so we could at least try to go into like something, right? So let's say we do this, send the Imseti and the bonds. They activate Ash, right? Okay. So now they only have one hand trap. So we don't have Talon, so they're safe. We're gonna go ahead and activate Magnum, target the Imseti. We're gonna banish it. Magnum effect. Like depending on the deck, if it's a Fire King, I really wouldn't care. Yes. Like Bistioing the Black Witch is very important. You know what? I think I would just Veiler, just to make sure we don't give our opponent any option, right? And then they only have like one card, so like at this point, if it's not a hand trap, they're gonna have to be top decking. But I would go ahead and sync for Chaos Angel. Oh my god, Chaos Angel's so broken, man. The fact that you don't need a tuner is just like insane. If I played the Brone, you could. But yeah, this is like realistically the only thing that you can do. You activate the Chaos Angel. We're not going to activate it, but he is the protection of monsters that control cannot be destroyed by battle. So it's pretty good. We have a life and a dream here. Nothing else really triggers. We have one hand trap, but we're able to get into some sort of board with Chaos Angel, but it was definitely tough, right? Like, we don't have Imseti. We don't have any more follow-up, and our top deck is going to be Veiler. That's even if we survive the turn. Yeah, 3 hand traps happen, guys. Don't forget. And you also have to take into consideration that that's 3 cards out of your opponent's hand, right? So do not forget that. We'll do one more. Okay, we'll do another one. 3 hand traps. Again, that's happened to me, Ash, Imperm, and Veiler all in the same turn. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. But again, that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh fun. You gotta have to have like proper deck building, being able to play through like multiple hand traps. Okay. Alright. So we'll go ahead and do 1. Alright. So we get to play 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Here, we don't have like much choice, right? Like, you have to use the Primera or the Trudea. We have one summon. So we'll go ahead and normal summon the Primera, then effect the Impermit. Okay. I will probably place the Phalanx right there and then set the Imperm. Set the Imperm. and then I would pass. You could start off with a Trudea, but I think the Imperm is like it's gonna be the same. Yeah, like 300 traps is pretty tough to play through, in my opinion. Let's see if we could do it. Let's see if we could do it, and then we'll have, and then let's see what we could get. Oops. So we got triple T. All right, Imperm, Magnamut, Phalanx, and Ash. Man, this hand pretty bad. Like, we have so much interruption, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest. This isn't like pretty like consistent. This doesn't happen often. I mean, straightforward, right? Like, we'll probably just set the Phalanx and then just pray. You know, hopefully like one is enough. But hypothetically, let's see if we do live. Right, we'll draw for turn. And then we'll just talk to the Trudea. That's pretty insane. So, that is going to be it for today's video. Testing with Centurion. Again, I do think that the deck is okay. It's not a bad deck by any means. But there are some definite choke points. Maybe a good idea is not playing the bonfire. Just playing more hand traps or like non-engine or something. You just have so many already, you know, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see more types of videos like this where we do more testing, again, I'm a big fan of Centurion. It's probably like my main deck. Obviously, we're going to be like play Fire Kings as well. So if you guys want to see test hands with that, let me know as well in the comment section. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of my build. You guys agree with it? Don't like it? Let me know in the comment section, guys. But that's going to be it for me today. Appreciate so much you guys supporting. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me your thoughts. My name is Winster. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.